Hello, chatters. That is painfully real. It honestly hurts. Sorry. Okay. No, seriously, we gotta start in. It's time to get real. Chat, focus. Focus. Focus up. It's time to focus. Everybody focus. Are you focused? What are we doing? I'm gonna tell you if you're focused. Are you ready? That cannot be the start of Animal Quest. You're right. It's not. This is. Welcome to Animal Quest, chat. It's been a minute. And by a minute, I mean months. It's been a while since we've had an Animal Quest. Animal Quest is one of the first series that was created by Alveus. Thank you guys so much for the subs. Alveus was one of the first series created here. I'm sorry. Animal Quest was one of the first series created here. And it's to spotlight every ambassador that we have. It's to spotlight their species and teach you guys about where they came from, about that individual animal story, and about their conservation risks. It is a species spotlight series. Cool? So this is episode number 23. We've done 23 episodes of 22 episodes of Animal Quest. We've done it on the donkeys. We've done Stompy. We've done Winnie twice. We've done the parrots. We've done the chickens. We've done bugs. We've done them all. And we also do Animal Quest Remastered. It's supposed to be once a month, where I redo our old Animal Quests, because the most recent new one was almost a year ago, the dairy episode. I did another episode on Winnie, because we only have new episodes when we acquire new ambassadors. So the only ones that we're missing right now are Push Pop and the Wolf Dogs, I believe. And so the other ones, I redo them monthly. So, yeah. So we have Animal Quest. This is an original, and we have Animal Quest Remastered as well. Species Spotlights. Today is going to be the first Animal Quest on Push Pop, which is very exciting. Very exciting. A fresh quest. Any update on the Florida thing? One of the proposals for building golf courses on Jonathan Dickinson State Park was withdrawn. That was before we went to war. That was before we went to war, but we'll take it. We're still at war, though. All right. We did it. Okay. I did this very beautiful sign today to show you guys what this Animal Quest is for. Animal Quest featuring Push Pop, aka Pusha T, aka Pop Smoke, aka Snap Crackle Pop, aka The Pope, aka Push to Talk, aka Pop It, Lock It, Drop It. Our Calcutta Tortoise. If you guys want to see some of the other Animal Quests, they're all archived on the Alveus website, so you can watch them there. Okay? Are you ready? Animal Quest, Calcutta Edition. Yeah! Okay. The beginning of every Animal Quest starts with the story of the ambassador themselves. So, we're going to show you guys how we acquired Push Pop. What is Push Pop's story? Who is Push Pop? Okay, you're watching it, this sucks. Max made this. Push Pop! Guys, our newest ambassador. She's incredible. Spiky, yes. Okay, this is a sulcata. They're also called African spurred tortoises. So look at those legs. Here's her whole size. This is the third largest tortoise species in the world. Not right now, because she's a baby. But she will get to be about 100 pounds. Somebody bought her as a pet, but they live 100 years. Had her for 4 years, and then they moved states. So they left her behind. So they contacted my parents' nonprofit, but my parents already have a sulcata. So then my mom asked if we could take her, and we said yes. She loves produce.
She has some dandelion green in her mouth. Is it yummy? Push pop.
Hooray! Push Pop, Space, could you go get her? Push Pop is, I want to see her on the table for a comparison, a size comparison perhaps. Push Pop is about 4 years old. Again, she can live to be, I think we missed the first half of the video. How is that possible? You didn't see this? Oh my, why didn't you say anything?
Push Pop! Guys, our newest ambassador. She's incredible. Spiky, yes. Okay, this is a sulcata. They're also called African spurred tortoises. So look at those legs. Here's her whole size. This is the third largest tortoise species in the world. Not right now, because she's a baby. But she will get to be about 100 pounds. Somebody bought her as a pet, but they live 100 years. Had her for 4 years, and then they moved states. So they left her behind. So they contacted my parents' nonprofit, but my parents already have a sulcata. So then my mom asked if we could take her, and we said yes. She loves produce. She has some dandelion green in her mouth. Is it yummy? Push pop.
Now that we've watched the full video, here we have her, folks. Here we have her. Have we confirmed that she is a she? No. The vet even said she might be a he. We don't know yet. She's gotten so big. She's already grown. She will be full grown at about 15 years old. She still loves produce. Kayla said Push Pop grew 30% like a month ago. That's insane. That's a lot. That's a lot. Here you guys go. Push Pop ASMR time. Can you do a zoom in? Oh, yeah. think so.
Is it green?
Yeah. She's suspicious. Well, there you guys have it. Here she is. Tigra, thank you for the $15 donation today. So everybody, this is Push Pop. As you know, today is all about Push Pop. This is Push Pop Spotlight. Keys do not work. As you can, we're not crawling off the table. As you can see here, it's time to meet the Pope, aka Poppy, aka Pop Smoke, aka Pop Lock It Drop It, aka Push to Talk, aka Push a T, aka the Pope. It's fine. She's going back to munching. She's going back to munching, and I'm going back. Then I'm going back to tell you guys about her while she's munching, okay? Natural history. So this is a sulcata tortoise, also called an African spurred tortoise. They are listed as endangered by the IUCN. I'll explain more about that and why they're listed as endangered later. Their lifespan, 80 to 100 years. Full grown at 15 years. Push Pop is just over 4 years old, we believe. 20 to 30 inches long. Females will be 100 pounds. Males will be up to 200 pounds. Third largest tortoise species in the world. Their range is in Central Africa. And they usually give up 15 to 30 eggs per clutch. This is a picture of a full-grown sulcata tortoise with a human for size reference. So Push Pop is gonna be really big. Turtles versus tortoises. What do you guys know? Tell me what you know. And don't cheat. I know you all just saw that. What do you know? Goodbye. What's the difference between a turtle and a tortoise? Turtles are smaller. I can't tell the difference. Water versus land. So a couple people are saying, I'm just going to move you backwards because you're stressing me out. And I'm going to take off this sweatshirt. A lot of people are saying all tortoises are turtles. That is correct. All tortoises are turtles. Not all turtles are tortoises. So turtle is kind of an umbrella term, right? But there's also, can you like watch her space and just make sure she doesn't, there are some physical differences as well. So tortoise, can you see this? Sort of. Can you see that, chat? Tortoise versus turtle? Yeah, okay, great. Tortoises, so shells, first of all. Look at Push Pop shell. Describe it in words, please. Perhaps round. Perhaps Lumpy, they said. Segmented, textured, round, fancy. It's like a dome shape. And then turtles' shells are generally thinner and more dynamic shaped. Because they're generally made for water. They're more water dynamic than tortoises. Dude, you're stressing me out. Okay? The other difference, the one that some of you have already said, that's maybe the most obvious difference, is tortoises generally spend most of their life on land. Turtles generally spend most of their life in the water. The other difference is their toes. Push Pop, I'm going to lift you, okay? Lift. She's busy. Can you guys get a look at Push Pop's feet here? What do you notice about her toes? About her feet? Her little toes, are they webbed toes? Thank you for the demonstration, Push Pop. Not webbed. A little club-like. A little weapon-like. Club-like forelegs and hind legs, whereas turtles are going to have flipper-like legs. And then often webbed toes because they're swimming, right? Turtles versus tortoises. Here's your general differences. But again, turtle is the umbrella term. So all tortoises are turtles. Not all turtles are tortoises. Okay, here's some examples of what that looks like. We got a round dome shell of a tortoise on top versus like a flat, more water dynamic shell underneath that of a turtle. And then we have a club-like limb of a tortoise versus a flipper web-like foot like a turtle. Cool? So we can still call her a turtle and it's fine? Yeah, you can call her a turtle. It's fine. More specifically, she is a tortoise. Wild diet. What kinds of things is Push Pop eating in the wild? She loves eating. Grasses, flowers, weeds, cactus. They can go for weeks without food or water. Guas is correct. Yeah. She's eating right now. She has lettuce. She has zucchini. She has Timothy hay. Delicious. Here's some examples of what tortoises will eat. Most of these pictures are of tortoises under human care, but they love eating. They like lots of different things. Delicious. Great. That's their wild diet. Fun facts about sulcata tortoises. Thank you for the tier 1. About sulcata tortoises, baby sulcatas are freaking small, chat. Like, so small. Like, when they're born, like, golf ball small. Like, smaller than this mouse. Like, half of this mouse. Look at this picture. That's a baby sulcata. So Push Pop used to be that small. Baby tortoises, very, very little. But they are the 3rd largest tortoise species in the world. I said that before. Turtles are the only invertebrates. Turtles are the only invertebrates with a shell. That just confused me. Turtles are the only vertebrates. Should be vertebrates. Invertebrates? Shells are made of keratin. A lot of people ask if she can feel through her shell. And the answer, I don't know why I wrote that on there, sorry. The answer is yes, sorry. See, she's like, don't touch me. Their shells are made of keratin, and there are blood vessels throughout their shells, so she can feel everything if you touch the back of a turtle. So one thing to note. They also like scratching their shells sometimes. I don't know if you guys have seen videos of turtles like moving their shells on brushes and stuff like that. They like scratching because they can feel everything. Salcatas dig big time. We've been told that they can dig through brick. They can dig tunnels that are 10 feet down. So they have to dig in the wild to avoid some of that heat, and they like burrowing. So Pushpop's new enclosure has concrete buried around like in a moat outside of her enclosure. Salcatas are crepuscular. What does that mean, chat? What does being crepuscular mean? A lot of you already know the answer to this question. Dawn and dusk. They're most active at dawn and dusk. That's right. What are you doing? As for competition for mates, males will flip each other over during the breeding season, which can be really, really dangerous. If a tortoise gets flipped over and can't flip itself back, it can die of hyperthermia. So one of the distinguishing features of, one of the things that you can see on sulcata tortoises, especially male sulcata tortoises, is, and she's really young, but underneath her chin, there's like a little scooper. And in males, it gets more prominent as they get older, and that's how they flip each other over. Is with that. Thank you for the demonstration, Push Pop. It's like a lever, yeah. Can you take her back outside with this, please? Push Pop is going to go back outside so I don't have to worry about her crawling off the table. Thank you. Okay. All right. So there's some fun facts, some less fun facts. So I told you guys that sulcata tortoises are endangered, and we're going to talk about one of the many reasons that they are endangered. One of them is because of the pet trade. I noticed in doing this research and trying to find pictures and stuff that so many pictures of sulcata tortoises are pictures of them as pets. They're really, really, really popular pets. Because they're super charismatic and because they get so big, and I think people think that they're low maintenance because they think they're not that active and they're just a tortoise, so they'll hang out and like eat lettuce and that's all they need. That's definitely not true. They require a ton of care and a lot of space. Thank you for the 5. But people don't understand that, and then they also, because they're so little when they're babies, like they're the size of a freaking golf ball, people are like, oh my God, cute, fun, like I'll just have a tortoise because it's so cute and small. And then they grow to be 100 pounds and they live 100 years. So really, really tough to have as pets. However, that does not stop people from trying. Reptiles are the second most species-rich vertebrate class after birds. So birds are, species-rich vertebrate class in the international pet trade, right after birds. So birds are the most exploited in the international pet trade, but reptiles are runner-up to being most exploited in the international pet trade. The harvesting of wild reptile populations is the second largest threat to reptile species worldwide, which is crazy because habitat loss is like such a huge threat, and you'd think that that would be it. The second largest threat to reptile species worldwide is the pet trade, the harvesting of wild reptiles for the pet trade. Over 60% of turtle and tortoise species are listed as vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered. Over 60% of turtle and tortoise species, not just push pop, like all turtle and tortoise species, are listed as vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered. That's crazy. That's a lot. I'm going to show you guys some pictures. If you're sensitive to sad pictures, look away. Here are some pictures of some seizures of reptiles in the pet trade. The picture right here is of 1,500 live tortoises in suitcases at the Manila airport. So these were seized at an airport in 2019. 2019, 1,500 tortoises seized at an airport. That's super recent. The top picture there with all the little baby tortoises in it, that's a 2011 airport confiscation of illegal trade of tortoises from Madagascar. The middle picture is a 2013 seizure of tortoises in Thailand. And then the picture on the bottom right here is a 2015 for sale photo. This was not a seizure, it was a photo posted online. For sale of engraved tortoises for sale for consumption or as pets. So they actually engraved the shell of these tortoises and were selling them. So I talked about the demand for the pet trade is super high, but also tortoises are used a ton in traditional medicine and in consumption as well. So all of these pictures are pretty crazy. I think one of the reasons that they're so heavily exploited in the traditional medicine industry is because they can live so long. I mentioned that sulcata tortoises can go for weeks without food or water. They're relatively easy to keep alive for people that want to have them around for a lot of time. And so it makes them easy to trade. It makes them easy to package up and try to ship through airports. So super, super sad and super gnarly. I have a poll for you guys. Here, oh, here's another picture. Sorry. Here's another picture of tortoises that were packed into a suitcase at an airport with a bunch of other stuff. They found these tortoises because he tried to carry on this bag. So they saw the tortoises like in a scanner in TSA. They were just like packed into this bag. Here's more pictures. So that's all of the things that I just showed you are illegal seizures or illegal activity when it comes to the trade of turtles and tortoises. This is all legal activity. So this is above me here. We have a reptile show with a baby sulcata. They'll sell baby turtles and tortoises in little Tupperware containers when they're really, really small. I think this is how a lot of people acquire turtles and tortoises, is they're so small and they're so freaking cute. People just buy them on a whim and don't know how to take care of them, and then they end up releasing them, or they end up dying, or they end up at rescues, or whatever. But super, super common. There's a picture I'm in front of right now. This is like a reptile expo of sorts, so they host shows where there's like a huge warehouse and a bunch of people selling reptiles that they've bred in captivity. It's getting less common for people to sell wild-caught individuals at places like this, but it still happens for sure. I also took a screenshot of a website that I found that has some listings of turtles and tortoises. There's a sulcata tortoise for sale on this website for $550 to $2,000. There's Amazon-based yellow-footed tortoises, Russian tortoises, all these species of tortoise that you can literally just click add to cart and then purchase online, which is absolutely nuts. This is something I saw on TikTok recently. Red-footed tortoises that are being listed for sale in a container. So this is all legal trade. And again, the demand for it is just remarkably high. A poll for you guys to get a scope for how big this stuff is. How many turtles and tortoises do you think were traded worldwide from 1990 to 2010? How many turtles and tortoises were traded worldwide from 1990 to 2010? This includes pet trade, it includes for consumption, it includes for traditional medicine, just how many turtles were traded in this 20-year period. What do you think? They're typing C. They're mostly typing C. They're also typing D. Is it 100,000 turtles, 700,000 turtles, 1 million turtles, or 2 million turtles? Beep, beep. Polls up. Most people think that it's D. Unfortunately, you are correct. 2 million from 1990 to 2010. That's obviously an estimate. It's impossible to count all these things, especially when you take into account the illegal trade that nobody has documented because it's happening underground. This is a graph. I mean, dude, this is a graph of a number of traded individuals over the years. It just shows like a very, very obvious trend. I thought it was interesting from one of the papers that I was reading from 1990 to 2010. And just like the steady, pretty rapid increase in the trade. So, conservation. Push pop, Salcata tortoises, they're listed as endangered by the IUCN with a decreasing population. So they're both listed as endangered and their population is listed to be decreasing. Some of those reasons: habitat loss due to agricultural expansion. So these tortoises in the wild would be on grassland eating native grasses. The demand for beef worldwide is so high that we're putting cattle everywhere, and we're putting cattle onto a lot of habitat of native species, and cattle are out competing Salcata tortoises where they live in Africa. So there's another reason for you guys to consume less beef. I know I say that often, but there's a lot more reasons than methane production. It actually leads to a ton of habitat loss. So habitat loss due to agricultural expansion and cattle ranching is one of the reasons they're endangered. Exploitation for the pet trade, consumption, traditional medicine use. You might be wondering there, for consumption, people do eat turtle meat, but then for traditional medicine also, they use a ton of different parts of turtles for traditional medicine. They I read an article today that said that they use fluids like urine and blood for ear medications, for eardrops. They use fluids in drinks, like mixed in drinks. They grind the shells into a powder and use the powders in other medications. And then they use the meat to cure ailments as well. So they use like all parts of the turtle bile as well as a fluid that they use that they believe cures ailments. So yeah, heavy use in traditional medicine. They're expecting to see, there's a picture of turtle shells in a market at the bottom here. So these are all shells of individual turtles that they use for grinding up for medicine or for maybe a decoration. I would have to look into that one, but turtles mean a lot of different things in a lot of different cultures, and I think people collect parts for that reason as well. They're expecting to see a 50 to 75% population decline over the next 90 years for Salcata tortoises. Over the next 90 years, they're expecting a 50 to 75% decline in their wild populations. So, what can we do about that? What can we do about that? Number one, be responsible with your choice of pets. Do your research before you acquire a pet. Get a cat or a dog. But do your research. Make sure that you are ethically acquiring, especially reptiles and birds and bugs. Make sure that they're captive bred. If you are acquiring one of those as a pet, make sure that they're not wild caught animals. Because we just don't have enough research yet on how that affects their wild populations. It's a very obvious direct effect, but we don't have any long-term research on we don't have enough long-term research on how that's affecting the species as a whole, the pet trade and wild capture and stuff like that. So we want to avoid it as much as possible. Eat less beef is one of the things I just said. It's not just methane production and it's not just animal welfare. It's also destroying habitat in countries way beyond the US. the US is importing beef from tons of different countries because the demand for beef is so high. So eating less beef, huge. And then the other big thing, and I've mentioned this, thank you for the prime, and I've mentioned this before, is report suspicious content online. So World Wildlife Fund has a coalition to end online wildlife trafficking. And so they have a form where you can submit if you see people selling animal parts or live animals. And I will play their promo video so you can see what that looks like.
Wildlife trafficking is second only to habitat loss as the biggest threat to species. Each year, thousands of African elephants are poached for their tusks to meet the demand for ivory. There is a persistent demand for rhino horn sold as traditional medicine and tonics, with profits going to organized crime. Hundreds of thousands of these scaly mammals are trafficked each year for their scales alone. Now, wildlife traffickers are exploiting the biggest marketplace in the world, your phone. They can reach more people more anonymously than ever before through websites and apps at your fingertips. Instead of roaming the jungle, tigers are placed in online shopping carts with just a few clicks. But you can help keep tigers, elephants, and other species offline. The Coalition to End Wildlife Trafficking Online unites global tech companies to work together to keep their platforms free of endangered species. Help us by learning what to look for, avoiding illegal wildlife products, and reporting suspicious listings. Is this necklace what it seems? Or does it tell another story? Join us to find out.
So we have a command for that in this chat. Is it command report? Yes. You can do command report in this chat. If you see anything on TikTok or you see something on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and you think that live wildlife or wildlife parts are being sold illegally, you can report them to World Wildlife Fund, which is very, very cool. That's a really, really cool feature because you guys are all on the internet anyway. So that's a really cool thing that you can look into. And generally, another thing that I say on Animal Quest often is avoiding wildlife products and trophies and stuff online. Avoid buying furs and bones and things of that nature. I think that's getting less and less popular nowadays, but avoid wildlife products online yourself to make sure that you're not contributing to something that you don't want to be contributing to. Does it shut down the person trying to sell the stuff? I don't know exactly how it works on the back end. I think they're collecting a lot of data. It's not like you report and then it immediately gets shut down. It would be cool if systems could work that way, but it definitely has to go through a review. But World Wildlife Fund is doing it. They're doing really good work on it. That is Push Pop's Animal Quest. We do a Q&A section at the end of Animal Quests for you guys. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, now is the time. What have you got? What do you think? Command ask, and you can do hashtag ask followed by your question, and I will read some questions. I will read some questions. Oh. Cool. Okay, good? Okay. Nice. How is Push Pop's enclosure looking? Push Pop is getting a brand new enclosure built at Alveus. It is sick. It's huge. It's a Push Pop mansion. It's looking really good. The wire is up on it. Colton moved some boxes in there today. Some like den boxes, hide boxes. So it's getting really, really close. It looks very good. It looks very good. Okay, this is a big question. Momo the Duck said, genuine questions. If humans were not on the planet, would some animal species naturally go extinct except in Asteroid. Yeah, for sure. So the natural rate of extinction is very, very low. It's very few species a year. This is the first mass extinction in the history of Earth that has been caused by a species, that species being human. So we're facing a conservation crisis for that reason, that we're experiencing mass extinction because of us. But there is a natural rate of extinction. Yes, species would be going extinct even if humans were not on the planet, just at a way slower rate. Stealthy, good question. Stealthy said, are sulcata populations affected by the rising temperature phenomenon that some other turtles are being affected by due to their sex being related to the temperature they're born at? So I did try to research this specifically, and my answer is that I think yes. So for those of you who don't know what Stealthy's talking about, turtles, when they lay eggs, like if a turtle lays eggs in the sand, it's temperature-dependent sex determination. So the sex of those turtle eggs, is dependent on the gradient of the temperature of the nest. So if the nest on the hotter side, that's female turtles that will hatch out. And on the cooler side, it's male turtles that'll hatch out. But with increasing global temperatures, we're seeing a skewed ratio of baby turtles that are female, which is obviously detrimental to wild populations because you need both male and female for breeding. So yes, sulcata tortoises, same thing, temperature-dependent sex determination in laying clutches. I believe, again, I tried to look that up specifically, and it was really hard to find information about sulcatas specifically. But generally, with what I know about turtles and tortoises, I think the answer is yes. But for turtles worldwide, that is an issue. Yeah. What are the differences between male and female sulcatas? So male sulcatas will get about 100 pounds larger. So male sulcatas will be like 200 pounds at grown adult size, and female sulcatas will be about 100 pounds. At full grown adult size, male sulcatas also have like a concave sort of indent on their underside, because it helps them be able to mount females better, to have that concavity. So that's how they're sexed when they get older. It's just hard to tell with Push Pop because she's young still. Turtle, thank you for the sub. Raffhead said, how do I make close people around me care about conservation? Seems kind of like a forehead answer, but I think talking to people and sharing your excitement about nature and conservation will help them be excited about it too. I think enjoying your native wildlife is huge, just like going on a walk and noticing what birds are out there and what bugs are out there. For me personally, I love IDing plant and animal species. I think it's just because I'm human and cringe and love categorizing things, but I love when I know what a plant is. Like if I know the name of a plant or I know the name of a bird and I go somewhere else and I see it and I say, oh my God, that's a cardinal. It means more to me and I feel excited about that. So teaching them about your native wildlife probably helps a lot. But yeah, excitement is contagious. This is an interesting question. Turtle said, did Push Pop get lighter in color? Maybe like a little bit? I don't know, you'd have to look at the VOD. Maybe a little bit. Bryce is right, said, since they're land dwellers, would a tortoise drown if placed in a body of water? Yes. Yeah, so Push Pop would not be able to swim, and she would drown if you like put her in a body of water, yeah. This one I already kind of talked about. Love Lydia said, what's your favorite fun fact about tortoises? As a conversation starter / party fact, it's like a really depressing fact, but I do talk about that sex-dependent or temperature-dependent sex determination because I just think it's such an interesting effect of climate change that no one ever thinks about or no one knows about, you know? Thank you for the 18 months. Okay. This is kind of a hard question to answer. Granny said, how can we ensure that captive bred reptiles are coming from an ethical breeder and not a situation like Finn or Patchy? There is no, like, there's no rule to be like, well, if they do this, they're good to go and they're ethical. Even if they are captive bred and ethical in that way, they could have really bad animal care that we don't know about, and that's unethical. It's so hard to know. All I can tell you guys is that you have to do a ton of research on the breeder and reviews and talk to them and maybe even see their facilities and see what they say. The one surefire way to know that you're ethically rescuing a pet is by rescuing a dog or a cat. If you're like adopting a dog or a cat, even if they originally came from sad circumstances, it is an animal that is alive that deserves and needs a home. So I have that advice, but I unfortunately can't give you a rule for ethical breeding of reptiles. Lynn said, what do we know about Push Pop's personality? Push Pop is far more bold than any of us expected. She's far more lively than any of us expected. I thought she would be really slow because she's a tortoise and like chill and not really care to do anything and like kind of sort of eat. She is like quick and she's food motivated and she's involved and she's so present. Like she like looks around and like looks at you and is just she's very smart and she's very present and she has places to be. I think she's surprised all of us. Do you know anything about how Push Pop's previous owners acquired her? I don't know specifically, but what I do know is that they have had her for about 4 years and she's about 4 years old. So I would guess or assume that they got her at like a reptile show or from a breeder when she was a little golf ball size and they're like, so cute, we'll get a tortoise. And what happened with Push Pop's previous family is they had her for 4 years and then they moved states and they're like, we can't bring this tortoise because we're moving. That's the other problem with tortoises and parrots that I tell you guys about is like, it's just not realistic for people to have a pet for 100 years generally, you know? And in that way, it's unfair to have them as a pet at all. Because with parrots and tortoises, they'll get to a point where you have to move or you have to give them to somebody else or some rescue has to take them and they have to adjust to that. So yeah, the lifespan is a big problem in ethically owning these as pets. I don't know why I put this question on screen. I guess I want to know if you guys know anything. I have never. It said, is there some sort of certification that pet stores can get to ensure they're ethical? I think the answer is no. But if you guys know differently, let me know. Generally speaking, I don't advocate for getting pets at pet stores, like especially the franchise pet stores, like PetSmart, Petco, whatever. But I'm not aware of a certification for that. Kitsune said, what purpose do the horn-like protrusions on their front legs serve? Kitsune Kaizen. Did you guys see Push Pop's front legs and how there's spikes on all of them? She's got spikes on all her front legs. One, good for digging. Because as they're digging dirt out, it's like a bunch of little scoops and it can help her scoop dirt out. And then two, when Push Pop gets nervous, she tucks her head into her shell and she closes her front legs over them like this. And so it helps protect her as well because they're spiky. And it also helps her look really cool. Summer Dog said, will Push Pop get as old as that tortoise that met Queen Victoria and lived till a few years ago? Okay, I'm not familiar with that tortoise, but Push Pop's lifespan is 80 to 100 years. So we hope she'll get that old. Jackinthus said, how do I start getting into conservation work like you? Our first recommendation is if you're able to volunteer or get an internship somewhere, or get involved with a conservation organization, awesome. If you don't have any conservation-specific organizations in your area, you can volunteer in an animal shelter. I've always said that doing work and volunteering for domestic pets is indirectly a fight against the exotic pet trade, because it's encouraging people to get dogs and cats as pets, and domestic animals as pets instead of exotic animals, and I think that's important. And if you want to work in conservation or you want to work in zookeeping or something like that, any animal experience is good animal experience, even if it's just with cats. If you want to work with tigers, you're going to have to start by working with domestic cats, you know? You don't just as a 17-year-old say, I want to work with tigers and then get in a pen with them, right? So you can start with domestic animals. Peach, thank you for the raid. Ma'am, hello Peach viewers. We're doing a little turtle Q&A. You got any turtle questions? You can ask me turtle questions. I'll answer them. Hi Rune, hi Peach. I love you. All right. When they are both fully grown, who will be heavier, Push Pop or Maya? If Push Pop is female and ends up being 100 pounds, we'll be about the same weight. If Push Pop is male and ends up being 200 pounds, Push Pop will weigh more. I don't know if that was a real question or not, but I answered it. A great question, Vicariously said. At the end of the stream, could you mention the Florida situation regarding the national parks if it's still relevant? Yes. So, chat, we're at war currently. If you weren't aware, now you are. Welcome to war. Welcome to the front lines. Florida is trying to build golf courses, hotels, and pickleball courts across 9 state parks. State parks that are habitat to a lot of endangered animal and plant species. Florida scrub jays, gopher tortoises, and red widows. Red widows are one of the most endangered spider species in North America. A lot of them are really habitat specific and they can't live anywhere else, except for in these state parks. Florida already has plenty of golf courses. They have plenty of hotels and they have plenty of pickleball courts. And these are protected areas. So we have, thank you Shrez and thank you Space for linking those things. Can we put Command Protect in this channel as well? We'll do Command Protect for some links for you guys. There's a change.org petition and there's an Audubon pre-written letter that you just have to click send on pretty much. So super easy action items to show that people care about this, to stop them from doing it. So far, one of the proposals has been withdrawn from Jonathan Dickinson State Park about building a golf course over it, which is very exciting. But you guys, me, all the wildlife YouTubers want to see and hear more. And we haven't heard anything about the rest of the state parks. So we're at war until we hear more. Alrighty. Ow. Do. This is a big question. Sugar Plum said, is chicken okay to eat ethically over beef? Also, what about milk? Chicken has far lower emissions than beef does, and chicken affects far less habitat than beef does worldwide. So from an environmental perspective, chicken is much better to consume than beef. From an ethical perspective, like from an animal welfare perspective, they're generally both pretty bad. Same thing goes for milk. So emissions that come from the dairy industry are insanely high, and the animal welfare issues that emerge from the dairy industry are really bad as well. So, yeah. Yeah. Dark Girl asked if 100 frogs will live in her enclosure with her. I would imagine we will end up seeing frogs in Push Pop's enclosure as well. There are frogs all over this place. Salty Cajun said, what's Push Pop's favorite food? Push Pop likes lettuce. Push Pop likes dandelion greens. Push Pop likes, I think she likes mustard greens. What else? She eats zucchini. She likes grass. Push Pop eats it all. This is a good question. This is a good question. Fun Fettysburg address is so funny. Said, what are your top 3 favorite things about Push Pop? My top 3 favorite things about Push Pop. One of my favorite things about Push Pop is, surprisingly, no, hold, let me go back. One of my, okay, top 3 favorite, this is hard. Top 3 favorite things. 1, how present she is. I love how aware she is of her surroundings and how like engaged she is with her surroundings. She just like, she's so present. And I love that about her. Number 2, how much she likes snacks. I like that she likes snacks. I think it's really cute. I love that if there's a snack in front of her, she eats it without question and consistently every time. I like that about her. And number 3, surprisingly, the sound she makes, her ASMR. I didn't know that Push Pop did such good ASMR, but when you put a mic up to her face, she breathes, and her crunching is really good, and I love it. And I didn't know that about her until recently. She does really good ASMR. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Also a good question. Which nickname for Push Pop is your favorite? I like Push to Talk a lot. The animal care staff calls her Smush, I think. Right? Is it Smush or Squid? No, it's Smush. But I like Push to Talk. I like the Pope. And I like Pop Lock It Drop It because she likes that song. It's her theme song. Pop Lock It Drop It's pretty good. All right. Okay, last question. Jackanthus, what are some resources you recommend to learn more about animal welfare and conservation? Well, it depends on what you're looking for because there's a lot of information out there. If you want to learn about animal welfare in the agriculture industry, you can go on the Alveus website and check out some of the previous animal quests. I've done an animal quest on Winnie for the beef industry, and I've done a second animal quest on Winnie for the dairy industry. So you can find food label information there. You can find the animal quest on the chickens has information about food labels as well if you're looking for ag industry. Other organizations that we love here at Alveus, we love Rainforest Alliance, we love World Wildlife Fund. I do a lot of work with World Wildlife Fund. We love Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation. And we love Purple Martin Conservation Association. And what else? Well, there's so many. There's so many others. National Wildlife Federation is good. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Evan. Okay, guys. Colbert, thank you for the prime. Chat. Scene. that is Push Pop's Animal Quest. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you had fun. I hope you have stuff to take away and go tell your friends. Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you so much. Sorry that this Animal Quest took a minute to get to. I do want to do them once a month, but you guys know how it goes. What was that? Corbin! Corbin! Thank you for the $100 donation. Thank you for the $100 donation. Thank you so much. Corbin's crazy with it. Corbin's always crazy with it. Is there a Keeper Talk now too? Yes, there is. Animal care stuff. It's actually, do we have a new intro? Guys, there's a brand new intro. This is a new intro reveal. It's not called Keeper Talk anymore. Get ready for some change. Matt Sheets, thank you for the prime. It was only called Keeper Talk because Kayla's name starts with a K. It was Keeper Talk with Kayla. Now it's Animal Care Chats. So we have a new intro for animal care staff. Animal Care Chats is coming up today. The girls are gonna add some stuff to the wish list because we have P.O. Box in a week. So it's like the last chance for us to add stuff to the wish list. And I don't know if they're doing it now or if they're gonna do it on stream, but they need to, the wolf pond. They were gonna clean out the wolf pond. Animal Care Chats, do 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 do, ACC, do 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 do. Space is loading in the new intro. Dion made it. It's very good. Yeah. Check out this intro. Animal Care Chats will be very soon. Goodbye.